My name is Aaron Crawford. Thank you for coming to my presentation. Today we're going to talk about this Smith & Wesson 6906 model 9mm handgun. This is a small, very versatile weapon that I very much enjoy, especially for its safety features. And the main reason why I purchased these types of weapons is so that my family can stay safe as possible. And there's a magazine release on the weapon that I'm pointing at here. This magazine release does exactly what it says. It releases the magazine from the lower half, as you can see in this image. Once the magazine is out, we're able to go ahead and pull the slide back. This is basic gun safety. Whenever someone gives you a weapon to clean, you always pull out the magazines. You make sure the chambers are empty, and the way you do with this gun is to, again, pull that slide all the way back and all the way forward, and if a bullet's ejected and you know the magazine's not in it, the gun is now safe. Okay? If someone else tells you that they've done that, don't believe them. Do it yourself. Here, in order to bring the slide back to normal position, because normally when you cock it to make sure there's not one in there, the slide will stay back. This right here is me pressing with my thumb on the slide release. The slide release brings it back to normal position, as you see here. Now, one of the crucial aspects of this when you're starting to dismantle is knowing where to start. Right here on the right side of the weapon, you see this little indentation right in the middle. That is called the slide pin release. When you press that in, after you align it just like this, you have to align it by pressing the slide back to where it lines up just perfectly. Otherwise, there's a little mechanism that will keep it from falling out. So you have to get this at just the right angle and press in on the other side, which is coming up in just a minute. There it is. You press it on the other side, and that will begin the release of the pin. It's also extremely hard to hold the slide back like this. If you see in this angle, I'm pressing with my thumb on the slide itself so I can get my finger around and reach while doing it with one hand, taking pictures with the other hand. So it actually proved to be a little bit more challenging this time around. But here we have the slide pin release coming out. The pin is coming out here. You can see, again, the slide is just partially back, not all the way, but just enough where the pin is able to be released. It can be hard to press that slide back, especially for women who have weaker upper body strength. So it's something you're going to have to work at and practice, and you may want to wear gloves the first time you do it. So here, the slide is ready to come off. The only thing that's blocking it is the safety, which has not been pressed up into off mode yet. So all you have to do is press the slide back slightly, turn the safety off, and it'll actually, there's a spring in there, as you see in this image. That actually helps the slide come off very easily. And the slide is designed to where it slides pretty smoothly. And if you're having trouble with your slide, you need to oil it and check for you know, faults in the metal. Something's catching that doesn't need to be. Take a sander and sand it down. But here we see the chassis. Crucial points to clean are just above the trigger and close to the hammer. There's also several pieces of metal that are on springs that spring up when the gun is off. These springs are the basic safety checks that the weapon has. And there's only one position that the springs can be in for the gun to actually fire. Again, you can see the springs again I'm talking about right beside the hammer, and also you can see where the barrel is being held in place and the spring for which the slide mechanism is in place there as well. That's a good view of that. Now, to take out the spring, there you just have to take the slide pin, which the spring is around, pull that off, and then you see on the barrel, which is very easy to take out, you just lift and pull out. But on the barrel, there's a little indentation, a crescent ring indentation, and that's where that little slide pin will, with the spring pin, will actually sit, is on that little crescent. So you need to make sure and take a good look at that when you're taking apart exactly where that thing is sitting. We have our barrel image there with the rifling. You want to check to make sure that is clean. There's no gunk in the barrel rifling. And also clean around the firing pin mechanism. Inserting the barrel is really easy. Slide it back in exactly how it came out. Remember to look. Here we are. The spring goes back into that little spot in the slide. Put it on the crescent. Start sliding it up onto the actual chassis of the weapon. Make sure it's lined up perfectly, otherwise you're going to have a hard time. again, we see those little springs I was talking about, the safety checks. One of them checks to see if there's one in the magazine. One of them checks to see if there's one in the chamber. And another one checks to see, is the safety on. The magazine is also a check to see if the magazine is actually inserted. But you just press the first two down with your fingers, and this last one is the most important one. The reason why I'm emphasizing it is because you have to take the actual pin and press it down with the pin, or some other hard object like a screwdriver would do. Although a screwdriver I wouldn't advise, because it would scratch it up a bit if you do it wrong. But press that down, and then you can slide it back, as you see here. At the bottom left, and top right to bottom left, you see that I'm aligning and inserting the pin as it needs to be. Unfortunately, the slide was giving me a hard time. My hands are getting tired. So at this point, I did not have the slide pressed back as far as it needed to be. And you can see that in the top right photo, the hole doesn't quite show, a clear path. All you have to do at this point, your gun is assembled. Just go ahead and insert your magazine. Put your slide back real fast and let it slide forward with the spring, and it inserts around for you. At this point, because the safety is off, the gun will fire if the trigger is pulled. However, if you remove, and this is again my favorite safety feature, if you remove that magazine and have the safety off and you pull the trigger, even though there's one in the chamber, it will not fire. That's really good for when you're passing a weapon back and forth between people. You can just release your magazine, hand the weapon over, and regardless if there's one in the chamber, you're not going to get shot. Hope you enjoyed my presentation, and have a good day.